All right, clones, Chris Williams here with CycloneFanatic.com. Another heartbreaking loss for your Iowa State University Cyclones, 41-36 to the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, I know, heartbreaking, another gut-wrenching, last-second loss for the clones, but boy, guys, you got to take a lot of positives from this game. I would much rather lose a football game like this than what we saw last week against Kansas State. Let's start off with the positives before we get to the many negatives that were obvious in this football game. First of all, Alexander Robinson. Here's a guy, we didn't even know if he was going to play football this week. Word smoke screen getting tossed all over the place. I know I used it a lot this week. A-Rob comes out, rushes for 155 yards, couple of touchdowns, 204 total yards. He gutted it out. A-Rob gets my game ball today. He played very good football, and you could tell he didn't have that burst. He wasn't all there, but he gutted it out, and that's the type of football player I want on my team every day. Austin Arnaud. Now, how many times, guys, this year has Austin thrown back the pass, and you just kind of get this feeling in your gut, you're like, uh-oh, don't know what's coming. Austin Arnaud finally looked like himself today. He throwing crisp passes. He had confidence. He was running the football well. That is a positive. He hit 7 open Cyclone receivers today. That is a positive. You got to take these positives. Now we got to get into the negatives, which I don't like talking about, but you have to when you look at what happened today down in Lawrence, Kansas. The kicking game, one of the worst displays of kicking I've ever seen in 25 years of life. I'd like to see somebody show me a challenge, a bad kicking game is what we saw today. But Grant Mahoney did rebound nicely. When he started off, missed those first 2 kicks, I thought he was done. So there's no way this kid's going to come back out here and do anything positive the rest of the day, but he did. He rebounded well. That's good to see. What happens next week, we have no idea with Grant Mahoney. Another negative, I don't like all the what-ifs. Oh, I already see a thread on CycloneFanatic.com about moral victories. Sure, you could take this as a moral victory, but I think that everybody in the Iowa State fan base is just a little bit past that at this point in time. What if the Cyclones didn't leave 5 points out on the field? What if they could have converted on one of those 2-point conversions? A lot of what-ifs out there today, but it doesn't matter. They lost on the scoreboard, and really, that is what matters. The defense. Now, I know a lot of you out there ripping the D, and rightfully so. Todd Reesing went off today. The Kansas offense had a career day against the Cyclone defense. But you know what I think happened? I don't think the guys played as bad as what the statistics look like. Frankly, I think they got worn down, especially in the fourth quarter. We use the word depth a lot in preseason heading into this football season, and I think the lack of depth really hurt Iowa State today, especially on the defensive side of the football, and I think that's partly the reason why it looks so easy for the Kansas Jayhawks, especially in that fourth quarter. My defensive game ball goes to Jesse Smith, 15 tackles. The senior continues to lead this football team. He's doing a great job. But again, a loss. I know it's not what you wanted, but how many of you really expected it to go down to the wire like this today in Lawrence, Kansas, against a top 20 football team? I know I didn't. Most of you didn't too. Let's take the positives, run with this thing to homecoming and Baylor next week. Looking down the schedule right now, everybody, is there really a team on this schedule where you look at it and go, no way, absolutely no way? The only ones I would put on that list right now would be at Nebraska. That's going to be tough in a couple of weeks. At Missouri, that'll be real tough on the final week of the season. But those are still winnable. It's not like it's impossible. You're not going to Norman. You're not going to Austin. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But I think we're a lot more enthused, at least I know I am, looking to the rest of the season as these games are stacking up. I think the Cyclones can play with teams. Can they beat them? That's a whole different story. They haven't really shown us they can beat anybody they're not supposed to yet, but we sure can hope that they can build on this awesome offensive performance today. It's a whole new football team that we saw out there this afternoon in Lawrence, Kansas, as far as the offense goes. But again, a loss. Try and build on the positives. Thanks for watching. I'll be back later on this week with a whole bunch of content at CycloneFanatic.com. I'm Chris Williams. Have a great rest of your Saturday and a great Sunday.